Welcome to the Self-Belief Podcast, the show that we shift your self-belief in, because self-belief shifting shifts everything. I want to share with you my continued writing prompts, because this is one of the simplest ways I know to understand yourself when talking and thinking haven't helped. Continued writing is exactly what it sounds like. You write without stopping. You don't plan it. You don't think about what should come next. You just keep writing whatever comes out. And the reason this matters is because most of the time you're reacting before you've had a chance to think. Your body responds, your brain protects you. And later you're left wondering why you said yes, or snapped, shut down, or felt overwhelmed. Continued writing gives you time to slow down that reaction, time to see what's actually happening underneath it. It works because you don't stop to edit what you say to yourself. You don't pause to explain, and you don't make it sound right. You just keep writing. Because this time is just for you. Nobody else gets to see what you write. It's for your awareness and growth only. And in that space, your brain finally gets room to pause. Not to be told what to think, not to be encouraged, but to slow down enough for what's really there to come through. And that's when you start to notice your automatic reactions, the patterns you didn't realize you were repeating, the beliefs that have been quietly running in the background. That's also when evidence begins to appear. Evidence that what your brain is telling you might not be true anymore. Evidence that you still have a choice. There's a reason why I love continued writing. I love it because it supports you in those moments when your brain just feels so busy, defensive, or stuck, and you just don't actually know why you're reacting in a particular way. If you're someone who thinks a lot but still feels stuck, this creates space without pressure. And if you're someone who reacts rather than thinks, this gives you time to notice and become more aware. You'll find continued writing in my book, inside my membership, and available on my website. And the links are down below. Most people don't react because they want to. They react because their system moved before they had a chance to think. If you've ever looked back at something you said or did and thought, why did I react like that? Then this is the episode for you. Welcome back to the Self-Belief Podcast. I'm Jenny Field, your self-belief expert from Just Being Me. That moment where you question your own reaction isn't about being dramatic or over-emotional. It's about the fact it didn't feel considered. It felt automatic, like it happened before you even had access to a choice. Most people assume reactions mean they're bad at handling situations, that they should be calmer, more controlled, or less sensitive. So they tried to fix the reaction rather than understand where it came from. But reactions don't come from nowhere. They happen because your brain is doing exactly what it is designed to do. Your brain's priority is not happiness, it's safety. Safety means familiarity, predictability, knowing what usually happens next. And your brain is constantly scanning for anything that might feel uncertain or risky. And when it finds it, it moves quickly to protect you. And that protection often looks like reaction. Because if reacting quickly once helped you avoid conflict, stay accepted, or keep things calm, your brain learned that as a response. It stored it as a reliable pattern, not because it was the best choice for you, but because it worked to keep you safe. So when a similar situation appears, your brain doesn't pause to ask what you want. It looks for the fastest route back to safety and runs the same response again. That's why reacting feels faster than thinking. For people who've spent a long time adapting to others, this just becomes normal. You read the room, you sense the tension, you jump in. You respond quickly because your system believes speed equals safety. At the time, it doesn't feel like a reaction. It feels like being capable, being responsible, being on it. But reactions bypass choice. They don't ask how you feel. They don't check what you want. They don't even pause to see whether it's your responsibility. They move straight from situation to response. That's why you can find yourself agreeing when you didn't want to, explaining yourself when no one actually asked you, defending something before it's even been questioned, or snapping when you've reached your limit without realizing you were close to it. It isn't about self-control. It's about your brain prioritizing safety over happiness. Happiness requires reflection. Safety requires speed. If you've learned that keeping others comfortable keeps you safe, your brain will push you to react quickly to maintain that comfort, even when it leaves you feeling frustrated or resentful or even drained later. For a long time, you might not even realize you have a choice. It can feel like life happens and you just respond. Like other people's needs set the pace and your role is just to keep up. And that is where responsibility starts to feel heavy. You take responsibility for situations that aren't yours to be responsible for. You feel accountable for other people's reactions. You step in before you're asked because your system believes that's what keeps things steady. Responsibility, when it's automatic, turns into pressure. The shift begins when you notice the moment before the reaction. Not to stop yourself, not to do it perfectly, just to recognize that there is a moment there. That pause might be tiny. A breath, a tightening in your chest, a sense of urgency to respond. That moment matters because that's where your choice lives. Choice doesn't mean you suddenly behave differently. It means you recognize that reacting isn't the only option, that you're allowed to pause, that you don't have to decide immediately, that safety doesn't always depend on speed. And this was the point where responsibility began to change shape for me. I started to see that reacting quickly wasn't the same as being responsible. Often it meant I was carrying things that weren't mine. Responsibility, when chosen, feels different. It feels grounded rather than pressured. It comes from deciding what you're available for rather than automatically responding to what's in front of you. And that doesn't mean you stop caring. It just means that you stop abandoning yourself in the process. I mean, at first, pausing is going to feel uncomfortable because you're used to reacting. Slowing down can feel risky. Silence can feel awkward. Not responding immediately can bring up guilt or fear of disappointing someone. That's just your brain adjusting. And over time, as you pause more often, your brain learns something new. And that is that nothing bad happens when you don't react straight away. That safety doesn't disappear when you choose differently. And as that learning settles in, reactions soften. Choices become clearer. Responsibility feels lighter because it's no longer assumed. This isn't about changing who you are. It's about noticing what your system learnt to do and showing it that you're safe enough to pause. And that is where the real change begins. See you in the next episode. Thanks for listening today. If you'd like to know more, you can find all the links down below. Oh, and don't forget to press subscribe so you can catch the next one. See you soon.